delighted to welcome Panthers defenceman Mathieu Gagnon.
Thank you.
Mathieu, how are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
Good. Want to talk about your career and various topics, but I want to start with your early career in Canada. And I think what a lot of people may not know is you were actually part of a Memorial Cup winning side with the Shawinigan Cataracts in 2011-12.
Yes.
And that must have been an incredible experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're lucky that year to host the Memorial Cup and win it at home.
Yeah. And I see you spent a few seasons in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. How was that as a grounding for you for what was to come?
I mean, it was huge for me. And junior, it's where you develop and you learn a lot of skills, you get coached, and it's the first time you move away from home and actually learn to be yourself actually and be an adult, and it's a big part of your career.
How much of a culture change is it when you're going from sort of that home environment to somewhere else? You're a young guy, you're away from home. Does it take a lot of getting used to?
Yeah, it's really different, especially in the queue. I had some very strict and mental coaches. And now it's different, and like when you're done a game, you just go at home and you just go to school in the day. It's just a different. You go and move into a family you don't know, to a city you don't know, and be away from family and friends and commit fully to hockey.
Okay, because obviously junior hockey is huge in Canada.
Yeah.
How different a regime is junior compared to the professional game?
Oh, it's so different. Like you get used to the junior hockey first, and after that you get to pro, and it's another learning curve. Junior, you'd say it's more, you're surrounded by a lot of people. They're teaching you the ways, they're helping you, they're almost telling you what to do. Then when you get to pro hockey, it's more, you need to perform, but you gotta do it yourself. Like no one's gonna hold your hand and tell you what to do. They're here to help you, and if you need help or anything, but still at the end of the day, if there's no curfew, there's no telling you what to eat or no one cooking for you. When you get to pro, you got to do it all yourself. Then in junior, like you got curfews, you got your billet family that's cooking for you, and you got all those rules.
And once you moved on from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, you went on to bouncing between the East Coast Hockey League and the American Hockey League. How different are they? Because obviously different parts of minor hockey within North America, but when you get to the AHL, do you feel that then you've got a chance of possibly making the NHL?
You're really close, but so far. We always make a joke, you're one phone call away, but you're so far. You've played American League, and just what I was as my role as just trying to get games in American League. Like I was even thinking about the NHL. I was just enjoying and learning from all those guys. Like you had so many like NHL prospects, some player that played in the NHL, and I was just there to learn and get games in, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much do you think that helped you gain playing in between those two leagues?
I learned a lot. You say you go to American League, but you don't play a lot, so you're more looking around, trying to look what guys are doing, the pro side of it, compared to the East Coast. So it's more like that's where I learned a lot of my playing, because you're actually on the ice playing and trying stuff out there.
So how much did that help you gain from going to the AHL?
I'd say AHL is more of a learning phase of my career. Like I was more looking around. I didn't play much. I was mostly scratch, but I was around the team looking at guys that play in the NHL that were up and down, and just learning from what they were doing and playing with better playing practice, work on my decision making, play making, and compare going down to the East Coast. It was more practical. You could actually be on the ice and try those things. So it was a different phase of my development.
You was at the Brampton Beast, and then you came to Nottingham for your first spell in 2017. And that was a pretty momentous season for the Panthers when you first came. You had the Champions Hockey League, of course, where Panthers became the first British team to make the knockout stages. How was that whole experience and travelling to some of the big arenas in Europe and playing some of the biggest teams in Europe?
Yeah, it was exciting. It was my first year moving away from North America. And when Nottingham contacted me and David Ling pushed it, I was done that season in Brampton, and David was like, "Hey, you got to go to Nottingham. Like, I know you'd like it." And he called them in, called Corey. He's like, "You need that guy on your team." And came in Champions League. I didn't know what to expect, and that was a nice experience, to be honest.
What did you think? Because obviously they were early season games, and I'm particularly thinking of the game against Bern here. What did you think when you played in that game and the atmosphere in the building that night?
That was crazy. I mean, it felt like we won a championship, to be honest. I had shivers. I remember like just the reaction of the crowd, everyone in town had a little hype around the Champions League and the league, and everyone was doing what we're doing out there. Like, yeah, I think like the league is happy that we're doing good. The other team is like, oh, we're doing good on an international stage, and we're winning games, and that's pretty crazy.
Prior to coming to Nottingham, you played as a forward. When you came to Nottingham, you was playing on defence. You know, how did you have to change your game from forward to playing on the blue line?
Yeah, that was a period of my career that's like I was playing forward and D before I came. Like when I got called up to the American League, they saw me as a forward. It was like, if one day you want to make it to the NHL, you're gonna have to be a grinder and fight your way through. And I worked on my game, so I was doing half and half. I was getting called up. I was playing D. I remember that one year, Jared Barnard, a coach in Colorado, is like, "Gags, I heard you play D-man." I was in the American League. He goes, "Yeah, I could play." And I think I was in Syracuse, and I played a game defense. He's like, "Oh, you're pretty good, Gags. I didn't know you could play defense." And so getting sent down to the coast. I think before I signed here, the year before in Brampton, I finished the entire year D-man. And I was like, "Oh, I'm committed to play D-man full-time back."
And obviously you left the Panthers after that 27-18 season. You came back to the Elite League with the Manchester Storm in 2019-20. A very, very different rink to play in, the Nottingham Ice Arena, compared to the NIC. How did you find that change?
Yeah, it's a really different rink, and everyone goes there. You just gotta embrace it, and you embrace that little rink. You get used to play. It's pretty fun. It's a different game. Plays are different. The speed is different. Everything is different when you play there.
Because a lot of people say around the league that rink is a big advantage for Manchester.
Oh, it is. It is. When the team goes there, playing at home in Manchester, anything could happen. You could beat the best club 5-1, and the next thing you know, you could lose 6-1 at their home.
Before we talk about you coming back to Nottingham this season, you've always been known as a bit of a fighter in hockey. How did that come about? Was you brought into fighting and fighting players? Is it a coach that asked you to do that, or is that a personal decision that you made yourself?
I think it just happened in junior that there were so many players. I was kind of on the fence. I was in like a top prospect in junior, and I was just fading in with all the prospect, and I was like, I got to show some character. I know in one game I was just pissed off, and in preseason, and I just got to fight it, and I was like, oh, I did pretty good actually. I could do this. And another game I was like, and coach liked it. In the next preseason game, it happened twice. I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at it. And it was just a way to not just be like everyone, and just not just fade in, and just have myself a different type of play, I'd say.
How have you had to change your game? Because obviously there's a lot less fighting in hockey now than there probably was when you first started out. Have you had to change your game, or do you feel you're pretty much still the same player?
Yeah, for sure I've changed my game. It's so funny that I started from junior being recruited as a power play guy to like, oh, now there's a lot of power play guys, so I should maybe be a tough guy and play both sides of the game, to getting to pro hockey and telling me like, hey, if you want to make it one day, you got to be a tough guy, to back to like, now you got to be playing the tough guy don't exist anymore. But I think the importance is always in my DNA, so I think it was not taking off my game, but proving I could play too and keep it that side as an extra key in my game.
Do you feel you're probably more of a protector now than somebody who just goes out to fight?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more of like keeping the game honest, protecting my teammate and make them feel good. And if it happens, it happens. But like it doesn't really happen often. Like I think in the past years, most of the time it was more of a I force people to do it. I don't really get asked to fight anymore, so I just keep it as a secret weapon.
And of course, you came back to Nottingham this season. What drove that decision to return here?
I always loved Nottingham from the first time I played here, and I was in my head I was like, I'm gonna be here a few years, and things didn't work out, and I went back home, realizing the coast wasn't for me. When you taste the Europe lifestyle and the gameplay and stuff, going back to the East Coast and that, it's not as fun, and realized I like it here. And when Omar contacted me in the summer, it was just an easy decision for me to come back.
And you come here, you've got an A on your sweater. How does that make you feel to be part of that leadership group?
Oh, it's a big honor, to be honest, representing the team, the players and everything, and take it as a big role for the boys.
How do you feel that you've settled back into Nottingham since you've come back?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the city a little bit of everything, but such a change. Like everything is different than when I was here. Like to the Brits, to the imports, to the coaching staff. But it was nice to see some of the staff was still here, so it's kind of nice to see Goody and stuff. But the team, it felt like a different team, but the city around, I knew it a little bit. That's it.
And how much of a different player are you from the first time you came here in the 2017-18 season to being here now?
Yeah, different, but not different a little bit because I worked part of my game and some, but I was still young, still looking for my game, I was still building stuff. And now I kind of know my game, I kind of know where I'm playing and my structure, and I'd say more mature in my game than I used to be.
And you're still only 29 years old. I think a lot of people think you're quite a veteran of the game, but you're still quite a young man. You said when you first came to Nottingham, you could see yourself being here a few seasons. Now you're back here. Is that ambition still the same? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like it here. Like I wouldn't see why I would go and play other places for no reason. You know, I really like it here, and hopefully I'm here to stay. Mathieu, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.